with 9 cross-country student athletes. This last fall, we had 155 athletes. And if you think about it, you're like, we started with 10 mobile homes in the back, okay, with 65 student athletes living out there, to now we have 205 beds on our campus between our village out here in Bucksboro. We're very, very excited about where we're going. We're always trying to move this thing forward. I do want to introduce a few people tonight that are with us. Our Chancellor, Dr. Wilson, is standing over there, along with our Board of Visitor, Mr. Rex Dollar, joining us tonight, along with the rest of our administrative team. Give those folks a round of applause. The one thing I can't do, or I couldn't do with standing up here today, is to take credit for any of this. And so somebody came back and visited us this afternoon. I'm very thankful, yes. And she's here. So Coach Breezy Davis left us about a month ago to go to another opportunity. We're excited for her. This was her brainchild. So about this time last year, she said, hey, can we do an athletic banquet? And I said, we sure can, and you can be in charge of it. And so she kind of took that idea and ran with it a little until she left us to go pursue a Division II assistant coaching job. So Coach Breezy Davis here with us tonight. Give her a round of applause. And then there's Miss MJ Roses. So MJ texted me one day. MJ's a soccer student athlete. She also works at the front desk of the college. If you call the college, chances are you probably heard her answer the phone, and she says, hey, are you in the office? And I said, sure. Typical student athlete. You want to come see the AD and wonder what this is about. She comes in, she says, do you need help with the athletic banquet? And I'm like, oh, probably. Because what are we going to do? I'm going to roll out the bleachers, and we're going to do it where she goes, no, we're not. And so everything that you see in here tonight was organized by MA and Miss Julie Lou. Okay, they came in and ransacked this place. There was walls up and all that, and they set all this up, organized everything that you see on the projector tonight. So give those two a round of applause. So by saying that, freshmen, I am taking requests if anybody would like to organize the athletic banquet next year. Feel free to please step up and help do this, because I know this is something that we will do moving forward after tonight. So we have some awards to give our student athletes. We want our student athletes. We want to honor our team. This is a big week for us. This is a very exhausting, rewarding week, I would think, Dr. Steve. It starts tonight with our athletics award banquet. We have sophomore day for baseball. Softball also plays tomorrow afternoon. We have graduation on Friday, leading to a weekend of baseball and softball games as well. So, but this is super. I often think, it's like, why do we do this? Well, you all in the room is why we do this. There's not an administrator or instructor or anybody associated with the college here tonight that doesn't care about you. And I hope when you leave here, you may not always agree with things that get said or done or any of that, but I want our student athletes and the parents in the room to know we care about your kids. They're important to us. I got two at the house that I'm pretty fond of. There's 4. I feel like I got about 155 up here, and I hope at some point or another, this college has been able to impact their lives, and I hope you had a good time while you were here. I hope you learned something. But this is telling this all the time. And Max said this in her post on Facebook. These are your lifelong friends, and you don't believe that until you get here and experience this. And I think what you're going to see tonight is a testament to that, with our signees and what they put about their times here at UARM Mountain. So we're going to kind of transition this in and get rolling on awards. So I'm going to ask Coach Samantha Shores to join me up here on stage. I'm going to honor our cross-country and track student athletes. These folks don't get to have a sophomore day. They don't own it, so to speak. They take their everything that they do is on the road. They load up on the bus and they travel all over Oklahoma and Arkansas and Texas. And we're going to Kansas in a few weeks, so we're pretty excited about that. So, folks, when we call your name, come up here and receive your plaque. These are our cross-country and track sophomores that will be graduating on Friday. And we'll start off with our women, Miss Adriana Montiel. Next up, Miss Karen Campos. Sharon Strider. Avery Carter. And Ms. Jocelyn Fernandez. We'll move on to our men, Mr. Danny. Yarmy Gonzalez. Mr. Desmond Thomas. Darren Weaver. And last but not least, Jaquadius McKenzie. And so I asked our student athletes to stand over here. This group, like I said, they go on the road. Most of the time they leave on Fridays for an early 8 a.m. run, when they're run day, somewhere, and they don't get to have the multiple home events some of our normal student athletes do. So please give one more round of applause for our cross country team. Very serious is the student part. Ms. Charlotte Wiles and Mr. Nathan Jones are here today. Charlotte has moved, with our athletic advisor, moved into our director of advising role. Mr. Jones has taken over our athletic advising. But we take the student part serious. You can ask the student athletes in the room. They do grade checks every 4 weeks, and nobody's going to play. We're serious about that. Our goal for every student that comes here is to graduate. I love winning. We won 11 region champions in 7 years, and we love every bit about that. But I think it's about them getting an education, and so we're very proud of that. So I'm going to ask the women's cross country team to come back up on stage. So not only did this group win the Region 2 championship here in Bentonville, Arkansas, which is Coach George's 4th region championship, but this group was also named the U.S. Track and Cross Country Coaches Association all-academic team. So give them a round of applause. They had a 3.0 GPA.
classes, I live on campus, and I'm running for coach shores. I had no idea who the kid was. And I looked up his times, and I was like, I don't know. I don't think that he has what it takes to be competitive. Maybe, he wants to be faster, but being real with what we do here, we're competitive. I want to give opportunities for someone to get an education. But this guy was persistent from day one. He could not wait to show up to practice. He's always the first one at practice every day, every single day. He's always running extra miles, putting in the extra work. Canceled the 5 a.m. run this morning. He was still out there running. And in the 2 years that I've been here, he's broken almost all of the school records. And his times just keep on getting faster and faster. And I know that as he continues on, he's going to continue to just, blow people away. Nobody's going to know that this was the kid from Horatio. Nobody knew about.
Real quick, and Coach George is right. We started track, it was because our cross-country student athletes, it was an academic issue. It's like, we've got to figure something out for them to be more active and want to go to class. That's kind of how track came along, and I'm sure glad we did. One thing that she did say was Darcy is a qualifier to the national track meet in Hutchinson, Kansas in a few weeks. And all things, I asked her the day that she ran it. I was like, why the 3,000 meter steeplechase? She told me the story, and then she went out and qualified for nationals today. So congrats to that group. We're actually going to take a few more student athletes and excited to compete in a few weeks in Hutchinson, Kansas. So we'll transition this over to soccer, men's and women's soccer. Coach Sherry.
I'm short and sweet. No, sorry, I'll keep short and sweet. A big thank you to the whole college. There are too many people to thank individually, but we are a village, and all of your efforts don't go unnoticed. You do a tremendous job, what we really do from the students' opinion. This has been a great experience because of you guys, so thank you. I'd also like to say that in all my time in athletics, this is the most empathetic and supportive athletics department I've ever worked in. I know what you're thinking right now. How is he old enough to be a coach? But believe it or not, I've been a head coach for nearly 50 years. And, is that right? no, not 50, 40 league. And this is by far the best athletics department that we've worked for. And that is all due to Jared, our athletic director, who is a wonderful leader. And I really do, from all of us, say thank you to you for what you do. Thank you so much. I say thank you to all the assistants, for all the sports. I know it's a hard job sometimes. You guys do a great job, and we really do, even though we don't say it enough, we do appreciate you. And thank you so much for what you do. I'd like to say a word for the head coaches. Guys, you do miracles every day. This is not an easy job. From the outside it looks easy, it's not. And the head coaches do an amazing job, and you perform miracles every day. There are obviously, being a head coach, there are always haters. You don't get the playing time they want, they don't get to travel, this and that, people think they know better than you. Here's my word for you, to the head coaches. Haters will see you walk on water and say it is because you can't swim. My message to you is keep doing the miracle day that you are doing. You are truly appreciated. The Sea Thoughts, we did really well. We battled through adversity. We lost a lot of years to the final hurdle through admissions, but we battled through. On the ladies' side, we qualified for postseason, but unfortunately in numbers we couldn't travel to the tournament. That's how difficult it was for the soccer. But because of all their efforts, the men and the women this year, we are in the strongest and biggest recruiting class that this college has ever seen for soccer. So all of that is down to you guys and the example you set. Thank you so much. Now we come to the awards. So the first one is the Soccer Female Offensive Player of the Year. It's the Jasmine who scored the most goals in school history and was the leading goal scorer in American Junior College Division 1. She was also the 2024 Junior College D1 Soccer All-American. So the Female Offensive Player of the Year is Jasmine Nielsen. The Soccer Female Defensive Player of the Year is someone who I'm very proud of. She listened. We told her, this is what you need to do to improve. How many times as coaches do kids come up to you, what do I need to get better? You tell them and they don't do it. It's all just chit-chat. But this one, she listened. You could physically see her put into actions the things that we were telling her. And as a result, she got better and better and better. And I have absolutely no doubt that she will be a great asset to the next level where she goes. The Soccer Female Defensive Player of the Year is MJ Rosas. The next award is the Female Team Spirit Award. Now, for this, I gave it a lot of thought. Obviously, we want them to be good eggs, good people. We want them to be good in school. But for me, the most valuable characteristic that distinguishes this person, and not the men award as well, is their reaction to adversity. A lot of guys, particularly, they talk tough, they act tough. You can have them crying to their mommies in 3 minutes by putting them on a bench or not traveling with them. They will try to destroy everything around them because they're not getting what they want. But the winners of this Team Spirit Award on the girls and the boys side are people who were benched and instead of retaliating, worked and as a result got better. I'll never forget when I put this young lady on the bench. She looked at me with this, what? And the next game, when she got in, she was ferocious. She turned out to be one of our most prominent and best players. So our soccer female team spirit award winner is Julie Lee. The last award for the female is for the most valuable player. This is for the player who had the most assists in school history. Do you know that saying that someone will run through a brick wall? This she is. This is it. You're about to see the embodiment of someone who will run through a brick wall for you. The soccer female most valuable player is Carla Todd. We go to the men's awards. The soccer male offensive player of the year is someone who played a lot of defense, but we needed a goal. We would throw him up, and yes, he would score again and again. But he was such a good defender, we needed him. We would have to bring him back to show up the defense. But the most prolific striker attack he had this season was Ibrahim Majobi. Soccer Male Defensive Player of the Year, and this is going towards someone who gave 100% every single time. Every single time he would give 100% for his teammates and the team. His effort was always such that when he came off the field, he was totally spent and exhausted. No matter what the score, no matter what the minute, this guy will give you 100%. And for that, we recognize him as the Soccer Male Defensive Player of the Year, Ryan Conquest.
So being that it's the first athletic banquet, the first athletic awards, I wonder something obviously. And Coach Sherry described Julie to a T when it came to our team, the Spirit Award, and when he said, I'm like, hey, when you come up with awards, they said they want to have this, I knew immediately what I wanted to do. On August 23rd, 2022, I received a phone from Coach Casey Wild that I don't ever want to receive again. We had a student athlete missing, couldn't be contacted, and ultimately by the end, he had passed away in a vehicle accident after the third game of our 2020 season. Braden Autry was a good soccer player. He really was a good soccer player, but he was even a better person and a better student to be around. He was named to the 2021-22 NJC All-Academic Team. He had an impressive 3.8 GPA. He was studying to be an accountant, and Dr. Throwkill was in the room with us. He had grade in class, so if you're in accounting and you get an A, you've done something, I can assure you. He finished the spring 22 semester with 4.0, and but I'm not going to remember that about Braden. And it's funny how the brain works, and you think Dr. Wilson and I are celebrating on the field in 2021 with our team. We won the Region 2 soccer tournament for the second time men's side. And what sticks in my head the most about that championship when you think back is I can remember Braden celebrating on the field with his teammates. And you're like, well, why wouldn't he celebrate? Braden did not play a single minute of the 2021 Region Soccer Tournament. Never stepped foot on the field. Not one time. And he was just as genuinely happy that we had won the championship as if he had played 90 minutes that day. And that will forever stick with me, because I can see that in my head. He was the ultimate teammate. He was the ultimate supporter. And as things unfolded on that night, it became evident what he meant to his friends and his teammates, so on and so forth. He embraced his role. He was a defender. You know, talked about Rima and Ryan. Most of the time they spent their time in the back, and they don't record a whole lot of stats. But Braden did. In his last game, we went to the University of Ozarks-Marksville, Arkansas. Braden had an assist that day, a 3-3 draw with the Division III, NCAA Division III program. So I'm extremely blessed, and you know, I'm excited that forever the Team Spirit Award for the male soccer student athlete will be known as the Braden Autry Award.
So, the winner of the Male Braden Autry Award for soccer is Francisco Arashia. Our last award is Soccer Male Most Valuable Player. Dr. Wilson talks about getting better every day to help us improve. This guy is different to when I first saw him 2 years ago. He's a different person, different soccer player. He is a shining example of what Rich Mountain Athletics can produce. I'm getting emotional. I'm so proud of this guy. Most valuable player, Ibrahim Jobe.
Transition to baseball. So here's Coach Peyton Trawick. I think I just got some booze from the front row.
You know, you think about me as a coach, and it's, you never really know, you know, you show up in August, whether you're a first-year coach, you've been in the program for years, you know, you don't know what personality a team is going to take on, right? And it's like that in every sport, every level. It doesn't really matter. And as you go through the fall, you know, you constantly try to figure out what's the push, what's going to make this guy go, you know, this guy go, this guy's a little different. You know, some kids, you know, when they get here, they need to be, you know, coddled a little bit. It's challenging. I mean, you're away from home for the first time. There's things that happen, right? And then you get some guy, you know, you got to give them a kick in the butt right out of the gate. And sometimes kicks them in the ear. Sometimes they resent you, right? And then they figure it out later. Like, I mean, there's just all different scenarios, right? And I kind of think back to this team, and I think it became apparent to me, honestly, within the last 10 days, you know, our group is tough. There's no question about it. You know, we've had highs, we've had lows. You know, we went through a spell. I mean, literally, we've talked about it in practice. Going into this last weekend where we had played 13 ranked games in a row, which is challenging, no question. And a lot of times when I see it happen, you know, teams will pack it in, and things get hard, they crumble, and then in return, backs against the wall. We tell them, hey, you got to go win, probably 7 out of 8 of your last 8 games to make it. And what do? They show up and they sweep the team that had been swept all year. And it's and this group just continues to impress me, just from the character standpoint. We challenge them to be good people. They dominate that, and I'm excited. You got to take 3 or 4 this weekend, you get into the tournament, and you never know what happens from there. But the thing I'll say about this group is that I have never been a part of a team that has guys that are as close as each other as this group. And as a coach, it's like, oh, they care about each other, and that's good. But I mean, you can just tell by the way they interact before practice, after practice. You see them in the cafe lunch. There's no close. It's just everybody's with everybody, and that's unique. I haven't had a group like that, and so that is really, really awesome to see. And it's not super common either. So very proud of this group, and we're not done yet. So we'll go get them this weekend, and we'll look up and we'll see what happens next week. In terms of awards, I was kind of thinking last night. I wish I could add one. And I didn't, so I'm going to kind of honor a player kind of off script at the end. So first one we have is Baseball Offensive Player of the Year. This guy's been our catalyst all year, and it's made a big difference in our lineup. So there's not really much else to say about that. So for Baseball Offensive Player of the Year, Ian Smith. Next one we have Gold Glove. We submitted these about 3 weeks ago. And I think honestly there's probably 4 or 5 different ways to win with it. There's been guys. Ethan Miller's done an awesome job this year. Gibbs done an awesome job. Steve's only for 6 games, and if you ask me right now, he probably been the guy. So, this one was kind of hard, and the way I kind of stepped back and evaluated it was more of, okay, we talk about limiting free bases and kind of what that means, and having Bilski behind the plate, nobody runs on us. We run body, and nobody steals on Bill, whether if it's Brooks Walker's on the mound, it's taking him 2 seconds to get to the plate, or whatever it is, you can get Brooks on the whatever it is, right? It's one of those things, he kept us in a lot of really good situations behind the plate. So for our gold winner, we have Jack Bilski. Okay, I didn't mean to. That kind of came off the top of the head. So, this one was also tough. So for this one, we had Picker, and I think there's probably 3 or 4 different ways I could win with this one. But the thing I'll say about guys, the consistency that it takes to show up every day and just really be consistent. And as a freshman, that can be very challenging in college baseball. You go through, and it's one of those deals. Your body kind of breaks down, and it's 56 games is a lot. And so, but this guy has proven, he's not perfect all the time by any means, but it feels like every time he's out there, I have to tell him to throw his breaking ball harder or something. And but I'll tell you, he's coachable. He cares. And there's not a lot of guys that, in my opinion, as a freshman, that can step in and handle workload that he has. Now we got guys that can pitch and get people out, but I think workload and being a guy that you can rely on from right out of the gate is a challenge. So for our pitcher of the year, we have Logan Steele. Should have at least got one of the logo on it, a little bit similar. So this last one, most valuable player. This one was also, honestly kind of tough, and you go through, you think about the team and what you need to win and do it at a high level. But this one kind of actually put my mind at ease a little bit. He asked me for the first time all year to not only pitch but to start. In a situation where we needed to win a game, and not only did he throw really well, he came up to me after and told me he could throw 2 more, which I don't know if I believe it, but I mean the guy wants to compete. And I think when you think about the nucleus of any team, the competitive motor is the most important part, right? If you want to win, you got to have guys who compete at a high level. So for our most valuable player, Ian Smith. Yeah, so I really kind of take a minute and honor one of our red shirts in particular, because I kind of sat back and I thought about what it means for just to be just all invested in the program. And so Reese, if you'd stand up for a second. In college athletics, it's inevitable. Like sometimes you get to college and you just need you. Like whether if it's to redefine some skills, get stronger. And the one thing that I love about Reese, and I will always look for this in players now when I get to campus, is what guys run towards the jobs or the things that you have to do that are not fun. Right? The things that, even as a coach, sometimes we're like, oh, I gotta go outside, I gotta go do this, and it stinks sometimes, but back from that, it's just stuff that's gotta get done. And whether if it's, water field, dragging. I mean, he took a water hose and watered our grass in the spot for like 2 hours one day because our sprinklers weren't working. And it's just like the consistency of just doing the things that not everybody else wants to do for the better of the program is something that's really, truly hard to find. So, Reese, I just wanted to thank you directly, and I think the applause you got from your teammates speaks enough to what everybody needs to do. So, I'm very appreciative of everything you do. So, thank you, everybody, and for your evening.
I'll say this, you left out an important job that Reese does is, Reese is also our sound guy at games. So if you're enjoying music, he's also the guy that entertains me for 16 innings in the press box. And I'll be honest with you, there's days that, I'm actually looking forward to sitting next to Reese. There's days like, Reese, you need to shut the you-know-what up, okay? But no, and I know Mason feels the same way as I do. Mason runs the scoreboard, and Mason probably feels the second one more so than the first one. But you can't say enough about somebody that wants to work and coach it and they want to hit that. So we'll transition this thing over to softball. Coach Tracy Neal.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to my 19 softball players. It's been a pleasure all year to get to the end of the year. It's a grind. You work your tails off, you spend hours. And I just want you to know that I appreciate that. It's not easy being a student athlete. So I'm looking at you, not just softball, I'm looking at all of our sports. And I just want to tell you how much you are appreciated at the University of Arkansas Ridge Mountain. We are the Bucks. Our softball team, 39-12 as of right now. We're ranked 18th in the nation out of about 150 teams. I that's a good question for everybody in this room. What is gonna be your legacy when you leave? How are you gonna be remembered when you leave here? It's very important how you act, how you display yourself, what you mean to others, caring, being a good human being. My players get tired of me, I think sometimes, well, I don't think of them. They get tired of me talking to them like a grandfather. And basically I am a grandfather, but that's just the way I am. When they leave here, whether they like me or not, I want them to know that I love each and every one of them. And I love the fact of what they've done for our program, for me, and what they're going to accomplish when they do leave here. So, the bottom line is this. I wrote the song a long time ago, and it kind of goes, the lyrics is, you don't know what you got until it's gone. Some of y'all heard that song before. I actually wrote that. And that's so true. Each of you have come here, you've made friends, and this is the beauty of Ridge Mountain. Our first year, we won 21 games in softball, and I was mad at it. We only won 21 games. We lost 40. Since then, this is our 15th. Since then, we've had 4 Arkansas junior colleges emerge. Those 21 wins in our first year here has surpassed all of those teams combined. I have a whole new respect for our very first team here. I brought 24 girls here and showed them blueprints of this is where you're going to live. 24 took the chance. That's what legacy is all about. First question that I ask every recruit, I look them in the eye and I ask them, are you a queen? Coach Mountain, this is not a place for drama queens. I do not want drama queens. I want good people to surround myself. Last 2 seasons, we've won 74 games as of right now. 74. I'm proud of the players that have come here, and I'm proud of the 19 that I have right now. And I hope that you go this grind of the last part of the season, grit and determination, because we do whatever we desire to do. The teams that won't win at this time of the year are the teams that will keep on playing. Tomorrow we got to play some team in Hot Springs called National Park. We beat them both times at their place. We have not lost to an Arkansas junior college this year. Let's keep it rolling. Now, our defensive player of the year. This young lady is from Cardinal Land and did not start last year. She's sophomore for us, and she is basically an assistant coach. We'll be in a game, and she'll know the defense, where to go, what to do. She'll even say, "Coach, did you re-enter that girl?" I'm really proud. Cameron Uher. Cam walked in the door, I did not even recognize her. Next award is the Offensive Player of the Year. This young lady has all kinds of potential, and there have been times where her play, I've just been like, wow, in total awe of what she can do, what she's accomplished. And our Offensive Player of the Year goes to Emma Reynolds. Our third award is our Pitcher of the Year. This young lady, another sophomore, didn't pitch that much for us last year. So proud of her. She's had an unbelievable season. One of the reasons why we've gone 39-12. And our Pitcher of the Year is going to be Holly Rainey. This young lady, before she came last summer, I would text her, still coming, or, how's everything going? And she wouldn't text me back until about 2 or 3 days later. So, Rain, kind of shy with that, but has had a wonderful season. She went to school in Muskogee, Oklahoma, and she's proud of that. They didn't lift the weights. She was a program that did not lift the weights. And I asked her to embrace our weight room. And she has embraced our weight room. She had 4 home runs her senior year. So this year, she has 16 home runs. She's set a record for runs and hits already with games to go. Our MVP goes to Julie. During the season, it's really hard for me to give awards during the season. We're going to have a lot of awards before it's all said and done. We're going to have first team all region players. We're going to have a lot of second team and third team all region players. We're not 39-12 because of 4 players. 4 players played a major part in our season. Let me tell you something. We have a lot of really good players on this team, and I'm excited. I'm excited for our sophomores. All 6 of our sophomores this year had an opportunity if they wanted to go play a 4-year school. That's pretty awesome. And we got a great bunch of folks coming up. And, I hope they come back next year and we're just going to keep it rolling. It's going to be good. Thank you.
I do want to say before we transition to livestock that in a meeting I said the softball players were smarter than baseball players, and that is true because they actually figured out how to use this step right here when they came up on stage. So I do want to point that out that Coach teams have never not been an academic All-American team, so that. So we'll transition this thing over to livestock judging.
We're probably the most non-athletic group here. I'll say that right. So most of y'all probably don't even know what livestock judging is, and so it doesn't have to contain anything physical. There's no kind of aspect to it. It's more of a mental game. We travel this country. We've gone all the way to Georgia, Houston, West Oklahoma, Kansas, all the way north to Missouri, and that's just limited travel. We'll travel more even next year, and so I've had the privilege of traveling around with 4 kiddos. We started off with a bigger group, but some things came up, and so, these 4 kiddos have taught me more about being a person, about being a coach than anybody else has. We don't have any awards because of, again, we compete a little differently. We have awards at our competitions the day after or that night, and so I'll just kind of call them up, talk about a little highlights real quick since there's 4 of them. I'll start off with Miss Lane Brown from Northwest Arkansas. She had a really good day at her. Come on up. She has a great attitude every day. You know where she's going to be consistently seeing livestock, which is what it is. She's done really well here in the state of Arkansas, and she just gets growing every day. Next up, we'll have Miss Kylie Stevenson from New Mexico. Because she never wanted to get back, but once she got here, she fell in love with the state of Arkansas. And talk about a kid that just works hard at it every day. She truly has special skills to be a great livestock judge and evaluator. Sometimes she's a little out there on seeing livestock, which again, if you know anything about livestock judging, that maybe be a little bit more understandable, but she's got better threats. So we wish her the best of luck for the next year and the rest of the crew. And now we'll go to Miss Olivia Cooley. Olivia Cooley, she comes right down the road from Deep Clean, Arkansas. A kid that just has the biggest smile on her face every day. She doesn't only like talking hogs. She's more of a cattle person herself. But whether it's staying late or waking up early in the morning to judge any kind of livestock, she's enthused to be there. She's always excited to get on the road, and I watched her grow this last year from not having much experience to becoming a really great evaluator. We have Alex Smith from Southern Texas. I don't know if he plays Houston, Texas today, or Montgomery County. Individual, he's my only sophomore, but one that's never livestock judged in college or even in high school. It didn't start until he got here, which is really, most y'all are student athletes, and so you know, you can't just be thrown right away to a freshman college baseball game, softball, track event. It takes years of preparation and hard work to get here. This is a kid that came right away not knowing a single thing about it, but put his nose down to the grindstone, worked hard, came in with the best attitude every day, wanted to get better, asked me, asked other coaches across this country how to get better. He has. He's now going to the University of Arkansas, where he'll be part of the livestock judging team up there.
By the way, livestock judges today is 1342 is the placing the flag. Okay, so I give that group a hard time because if you've ever seen a group that walk around talking to themselves in the middle of the hallway, that's them. If you ever go to a contest, it's just about 400 of them walking around, looking down at the ground, talking to themselves with their hands behind their back. So, but I often, if they're given reasons to honor up, them, give them the placing for the flag day when they're in the hallway. So excited about what Walker's got going on. And where we're going with that. We have a good recruiting class coming in, and we're going to continue to build this thing. We are the only junior college in the state of Arkansas that has livestock judging, and we're proud of that. We really are. So we'll transition this now to our athletes of the year. This is tough. Okay. The one thing that I pride myself on is I try to get to know every single one of y'all. I I told Coach Trader at the house the other night, he had baseball players, I didn't even know what their name was until this semester. And I'm not proud of that, guys, I'll be honest with you. But I feel like as the season gets on, you're out at the ballpark, what feels like every day. And you get to be around student athletes, and I was talking to another athletic director in the region, and I said, hey, are you ready for your students to get back? He said, if I'm not, I need to get into new business, and he's totally correct on that. We get in this business to be around students. I said that earlier, and I often tell this group at the very beginning, say hello. Whether I'm having a good day or a bad day, you can read it on my face, they know what I'm talking about. And now, I can't even say hello without a student athlete speak first, and I'm proud of that because that's a good life skill that you're going to need down the road. We've asked your students to be good people. I often give them 3 things. Be a good person, be respectful, and do the right. That's all I ask. And this group does that. And I'm super proud of them for that. So when I'm looking at athletes of the year, that's what I look at is, hey, I don't want just somebody's good on the field or in their respective sport. I want somebody that's very well rounded. And it was so hard on the female side that we have named co-athletes of the year on the female side. Between these 2 student athletes, both were named to the 2024 All-Academic Team. One of them is an All-American, and both are season and career record holders. More importantly to me, they are 2 of the most favorite people that I have on campus. They both work in the student union. They don't seem to ever have a bad day. Not that they haven't done, had a little fun while they've been in college. I think one of them, why'd you do it? And she said, I wasn't thinking. I'm like, at least you were honest with me, and I really, really appreciate that. So our female student athletes of the year are Buck Soccer's Carla Todd and Jasmine Nielsen. So our medal student athlete of the year, I'll say something about baseball group real quick. These sophomores were recruited by Coach Wagner. They played for Coach Weaver, and now they're playing for Coach Trawick and staff. And these guys committed to Rich Mountain. They didn't just commit to a coach, and I can really, really appreciate that. Same thing with the soccer group. They were recruited by Coach Lyle, Coach Dace, and Coach Garcia were on staff then as well. But these athletes at Rich Mountain, it's hard to find in college athletics today. But when Coach Wagner was recruiting this athlete, we got all the cliche things. We got hard worker, competitor, hates to lose, and we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out with 56 baseball games, 15 dates in the fall, practice every day, going to the classroom, weight room, and all that. If any of that sticks. And did it ever. The one thing that Coach Trawick looked out earlier is not only did this guy get a win on the mound, and that was his first appearance of the year, he also hit 2 bombs in that game for 3 of the 4 RBIs that happened. So at this point, they know that this year's male student athlete of the year is Bucks Baseball's Ian Smith. Can you transition that to our signees, please? So that concludes our awards portion of the night. One thing that we have done in the past is we've always honored our signees that are moving on to the next level. So you athletes, if your tables are around the room, please make your way to the table and we'll kind of get this portion of it underway. One of the things that we're able to do, I talked about our history. If you go on bucksathletics.com, we have tried to document as much history as possible. We have Bucks that get the next level. We have the thing called American List, our teams. All of those sort of things. We try to document as much as possible, and it's going to be tough to do as we continue to move forward. But we started this journey 9 years ago. And Dr. Wilson's back there in the room. He's not going to take credit for it, but it's his fault that we're in this business. It's his fault. Sometimes there's sleepless nights, long road trips, and all that. He had a vision to start housing on campus and bring in student athletes from all over the world. And one thing for our international student athletes, you have no idea, and I say this with Mr. Fielding in the back, who's our Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, our international students have no idea how much they impact our campus, our community. I'm thrilled to have a coach that's international. They bring a totally different perspective to this little bitty community in Western Arkansas, and proud of that. One of the things I talked about early is you're moving to Maui. I'm from here. I'm proud to be from here. And you all represent our community so well. Both of our law enforcement guys in the room, and they'll say, hey, we had a traffic stop, we had this, we had that, and I'm like, well, how was it? Super respectful. And I couldn't ask for anything more than that. I really couldn't. You all have done a great job of representing not just your team, not just UA Rich Mountain, but yourselves and your family should be proud of that. I definitely know that I am. So Dr. Steve, we're going to go around the room. I'm going to take this and make my way around the room. So we'll start over here in the corner. We are going to start with soccer. All right. And this is Miss Megan. Miss Megan is going to continue her athletic career at Williams Baptist University. Next up, going around the room, this is Mac. And if you've ever known Mac, this is the quietest she's been the entire time she's been here. Okay, she doesn't mean a stranger. But one thing about this one, she's grinded through a lot of injuries. Honestly, at one point, I didn't know that if she was going to be able to play at the next level. But we're super excited. Mackenzie Dellinger is going to Texas A&M Texarkana. Keep going around the room, and honestly, these two were honored for Student Athlete of the Year, and other awards tonight. I made this comment this afternoon when I was in here. Y'all have no idea how happy I am that y'all are sticking together. They are the two most decorated student athletes for soccer that we've had. Kind of a dynamic duo, but they're going to Hastings College in Nebraska. Miss Carla Todd and Miss Jasmine Nielsen. Staying with soccer, we're gonna stay on the women's side, and then we'll transition to the men's. This is the one that put all this together. That you see tonight was done by MJ, and MJ, like Coach Sherry said, if you haven't seen this, MJ's an athlete. Okay, if you haven't seen her do a flip throw with a ball, it's amazing to watch, and I get the opportunity to sit over there and watch people's reaction because she pulls it out once or twice, and on our field it's kind of hard because at one end it gets pretty steep. Down there, every time she does a flip throw, people are always amazed. But her athleticism is bar none. So MJ Rosas is going to Oklahoma Wesleyan University in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. And none of us are shocked by this, but she will be joined at Oklahoma Wesleyan by Mario Bengarzan from Madrid, Spain. Next up with soccer, keeping it on the men's side, Ryan. We talked about Ryan earlier and how hard he plays, and it's one of those things. And Ryan is from North London, correct? And roughly, he talks about how hot the sun is. You can imagine what that ginger looks like when he's been out in the sun for a very long time in Western Arkansas. But we're extremely proud of Ryan. He's going to Southwestern Christian University. Next up, and I remember every one of these student athletes, but I remember the day this one came to campus. I'll echo what Coach Sherry said as far as being proud, because it hasn't always been, easy. It hasn't always been the straight and narrow road for a ring. But extremely proud of this one. Dr. Thrillkill says it, best with him and all that. One of the most respectful people you'll ever meet in your life. Bremen Joe will be going to Davis and Elkins College and continue his soccer career. We'll transition over to track and cross country. These two ladies are cross country runners. Okay, they have competed in track. I wish they would continue to compete in track, and they're both looking like, nope, not happening, dude. But these two came in, and one's from Pittsburgh, Texas, one's from McQueen, Arkansas, and it goes to show you, they came in separate, and next thing you know, they're inseparable. They're always together all the time, and it's fitting that they're going to Henderson State University to compete in cross country. I will say this: we're still coming to kick your butt. Okay, so extremely happy for them. We will be competing against these former athletes of ours in the fall. So congratulations, ladies. So we're going to the back of the room. This is Coach Shor's, if I'm correct, Coach, I'm not sure where you went, but Coach Shor's first international student athlete. When Coach Shore said I had an international student athlete, and she was already competing in California at a junior college in track. If you get to know Erin for very long, she becomes one of your favorites. Her personality. She stepped off and got a job in maintenance. Okay, and she's good. Yeah, she does what she's asked, and it's not easy working in our maintenance staff, especially for Jim. But we'll leave that alone. But I'm extremely proud of Sharon. We're still trying to qualify for nationals in the 800. We're going to get there next Friday in Arkansas. Miss Dryden is going to Harding University. Coach Shore said this better than he can, but I will remember Charlotte, if Charlotte's still in the room somewhere. Yeah, Miss Shore came to me and said, "Do you know who Yermy Gonzalez is?" And I'm like, "I have no idea. He's not on a list. We don't know." He said he's coming to run. And I was going back there in Facebook, it's a necessary evil, I feel like, and the memories that pop up. Just a few weeks ago, Yermy, on my Facebook page, it pops up. You set the school record in the 1500, and I believe you still hold that today. But extremely proud of this one because it's not easy, okay? And his work ethic and his drive and motivation says it all. But Yermy's going to continue his career at Southern Arkansas University. Next up, we'll transition over to sprinting. This would be one of our first sprinters, not the first, but one of our first sprinters. And I remember the day that Darren, came on campus. We were actually trying to get his brother to come run, met the family, and all of that. But once again, somebody that I see in the hallway, whether that's 7:30 in the morning or late in the evening, pleasure to be around him. Very respectful. Excited to see what he's going to do. He's closer to home, I think, with this move. But he's going to go to Nelson University and continue his track career. So going to softball, the next one, Coach Neely tried to do the old "Hello, Jared" thing the other day on the phone. We were on the road. They were getting ready to go eat. I believe it was Chick-fil-A. Because I think that's the only thing softball knows how to eat. And he said he had a few of them do "Hello, Jared." I knew who Cam was, and I was about it. I got none right after that. I don't talk to these young ladies a lot. And this one, I say she's our Louisiana animal. But this is Kate Daigle. She said, hello, Jared. He's like, you didn't get that one? And I'm like, no. She said, hello, Jared. But I promise you, if this one would have said a sentence, I would have got it immediately because they acted strong in this one. But super proud of Kate. She's been a staple in left field today. Kate, I hope you get the bunt down. Okay. But Kate is going on Louisiana Christian University. Over here, we are transitioning to what has been our staple in right field season. A student athlete that hasn't always been a starter. Her freshman year, she really wasn't a starter. I think there was a catch out in right field that won us a game over Western Oklahoma in the regional tournament last year. Has probably solidified herself as a starter for Coach Neely. Honestly, when we were talking about defensive players of the year, this was a name that got brought because there's times that Kai's out there and I'm like, I don't know if she's good to that one, and she gets there making one of them. So I'm super proud of her. What I'm probably more proud about from Kyson is, early in the year, Kyson struggled in the box at the plate, and she just kept working, giving lessons, and I think all of that paid off for her because she's a dangerous 9-hole that has a little bit of power. She hit her first home run here at Western Oklahoma from the left side as a slapper, so extremely proud of Kyson. She went to Bethany College in Kansas. To the next one, we're going to baseball. And I'll be really honest with you, I didn't know if you were going to make it, man. So the one that came in, day one, and I mean, I'm talking about day one. I didn't know if the tall redhead on the baseball team was going to make it. But Jack has, next thing you know, he's our starting catcher as a freshman. And what Coach Trawick said earlier, in case you're wondering why people don't run on him, he throws the pee out of it, okay? If you go to a game, watch him take his warm-ups, you'll know exactly what I mean. Extremely proud of next thing you know, Chris Curry's on our campus looking at him, and Jack, it's a few days later, but Little Rock's getting a good one. Extremely excited to watch you on TV, man. Looking forward to it. Jack Bilsey's going to UARM. Etho. Every time Etho celebrates after an inning, I cringe. And just so you're wondering, no, Mason and Rick know exactly what I'm talking about, because Etho gets us into a jam because death taxes and Etho's going to hit somebody in the first inning. So we're going to have base runners. But no, Ethan Diaz, came in from Florida, and first time we've had any Florida athletes, and he's been that for the last 2 years. He's the game dude. He's the guy that we need to go out and get 7 innings and take down the first group, and extremely happy for him. He's going to be continuing his athletic career at university. This is Ethan Diaz. Do you want the mic? No, I didn't think so. But I thought I would. So Cam, that's about what you get out of him. He does say good morning, he does say hello, but other than that, you're not going to get a whole lot out of him. I went and watched him throw a bullpen the other day, and that was the most interaction that I've ever seen him have with anybody. But Camden Farmer from Paragould, Arkansas, Cam is that guy that comes in relief. We've tried him as a starter, but Cam comes in and does what Cam does. And I don't know any other way to explain it to anybody. He comes in and usually, down. He threw very well this last weekend against Western Oklahoma and kept us in the game. Cam is going to Mississippi Valley State University. I don't know what it is about Hugh Springs people, but they're becoming some of my favorite people. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Trevor Goldman's a different breed. If you ever heard him talk, he's a Texan, okay? But not long ago, Dr. Wilson calls me, and he says, hey, I've got this guy that emailed me, Trapper, that wants to work in maintenance. And I said, Trevor Goldman, he's a good one. And this is about 3 weeks ago, and Trap's fixing to be out of here. And he's like, I want to work in maintenance, I got a mowing crew back home and all of that. And I've given you some jobs, man. I've given you ball hill, I've given you behind the hill of baseball and all of that. And no offense to you, few other two that work for me, and all that dude works circles around you, okay? But Trapper Golden wants to be an engineer, extremely excited for him. You're not going to meet a better person. Great job, Mom and Dad, on that. But Trapper's going to Oklahoma Christian University. You've met this guy already. He comes from Bismarck, Arkansas, and one of the first things I think I ever talked to Ian Smith about, Bismarck was not good at athletics in school. Not that Mina was, but they weren't great. And when I said earlier what we're getting, hard worker, grinder, all the cliche things, that dude's not a cliche. That dude right there can go. I'm extremely excited. His motor, his character. I told the coaches the other day, he's got a little turn in there. But most good athletes do. I'm not going to repeat this, okay? So don't worry. But he tried to take him out of a game last year, and he said no. And that's not what he said, but he said no. And he threw a complete game in 9 innings to help us get the series win over South Arkansas, and obviously again against Western this week. Extremely excited to watch this one at the next level. But Ian Smith's one of the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Walker said a lot about Alec, and I'm going to tell you my story. Can I tell my Alec story? You're looking at me like you don't know what's supposed to come. I eat breakfast every morning in the cafeteria with Coach Sherry, and a lot of times you see Alec coming and he leaves. And Alec is just always the same every single day, except now he'll actually speak to me and talk, and extremely excited. He comes by the office, Walker and I are right next door to each other, and Alec is in there just about every single day. And I don't care who you are, and Walker, you downplayed a little bit, man. I'll be honest with you. I'm a farm kid, and all of that. And for somebody that never, judged livestock ever before, and coming to college and going and competing at the events that we go compete at, and is now going to the University of Arkansas to compete in livestock judging, that's absolutely phenomenal. So congratulations, Alec. All right. I want to say thanks. I've talked a lot more than I intended to talking. Those of you that know me, Breezy said my 5 minutes was an hour and a half ago or so. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for supporting your student athletes. Thank you for supporting UA Rich Mountain. This is a special place, and I hope every one of you, especially you sophomores, you've left legacy, as Coach Neely says. And by the way, if you want a pop speech, that man can give you a pop speech. Kind of biased towards that guy, but extremely proud of our student athletes, moms and dads, grandparents in the room. You should be extremely proud. This is a bittersweet deal. Friday is bittersweet, but it's one of our favorite days, and it's one of our most shining days on our campus. But I dread saying goodbye to these people, but I know it's not goodbye. We'll see them later, and we're going to compete against a few of them and with a few others along the way. So thank you all for coming. Appreciate your support. Please all the pictures you want. I will say, where'd they go? Breezy, thank you so much for kicking this thing off. I really appreciate that. MJ and Julie for taking the helm and really pulling this. They got the backdrop set up over here. There's stuff in the lobby. Please take all the dessert home. Somebody, please. But I appreciate y'all coming tonight. Thank you.